The automotive industry is experiencing its worst financial bloodbath in modern history, and the brands hemorrhaging cash are not who you would expect. 10 car manufacturers are currently drowning in unsold inventory, slashing prices by unprecedented amounts, and watching their brand value evaporate in real time. The truth about what is happening on dealer lots across America is being deliberately hidden from you. These companies are not just offering discounts, they are in full panic mode, dumping vehicles at losses that would have bankrupted them a decade ago. Before we expose which brands are circling the drain, hit that subscribe button right now, because what I am about to reveal will change how you think about your next car purchase forever. The collapse is already happening, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why these 10 brands are finished. Number 10, Lincoln. The quiet extinction of Lincoln is happening without anyone noticing or caring. Ford's luxury division is experiencing a market invisibility crisis that no amount of Matthew McConaughey commercials can solve. Walk through any upscale shopping district parking lot, and you will count dozens of German luxury sedans, a handful of Lexus vehicles, maybe some Cadillacs, but Lincolns, they might as well not exist. This invisibility is not accidental. It is the predictable result of decades of product mediocrity and brand confusion that has left Lincoln with zero identity in the luxury marketplace. The financial desperation is becoming impossible to hide. Dealers are offering incentive packages that exceed $15,000 on Navigator and Aviator models, vehicles that are supposed to represent the pinnacle of American luxury. Some dealerships are combining manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and special financing offers that bring total savings to nearly 20% off manufacturers' suggested retail price on vehicles less than 6 months old. This is not strategic pricing. This is inventory liquidation by a brand that has completely lost its pricing power in the luxury segment. Behind closed doors, the situation is even more dire. Industry insiders report that Lincoln's product development budget has been slashed repeatedly as Ford redirects resources toward electric trucks and commercial vehicles that actually generate profits. The next generation of Lincoln products is essentially on hold, with existing models receiving minor facelifts rather than genuine redesigns. When a luxury brand stops investing in its future, it is not repositioning. It is preparing for managed decline. Number 9, Mitsubishi. The forgotten automaker is experiencing a slow-motion collapse that should terrify anyone who bought one of their vehicles in the past 5 years. Mitsubishi's North American operations have devolved into what industry analysts call a zombie brand, technically alive, but showing no real signs of life beyond basic metabolic functions. Their market share has shrunk to below 1%, a threshold that typically precedes complete market withdrawal. The inventory crisis at Mitsubishi dealerships reveals the full extent of the disaster. Outlander and Eclipse Cross models are sitting on lots for an average of over 120 days, nearly triple the industry average. Some dealers report having vehicles that have been in inventory for over a year, accumulating dust and depreciation while tying up capital that could be invested in brands customers actually want. This is not slow sales. This is market rejection at a fundamental level. What makes Mitsubishi's situation particularly pathetic is the quality gap that separates their products from virtually every competitor. Reliability studies consistently rank Mitsubishi in the bottom third of all automakers, with particular criticism directed at outdated powertrains, cheap interior materials, and technology that feels a generation behind segment leaders. The Mirage, Mitsubishi's entry-level offering, has become automotive shorthand for the absolute minimum acceptable transportation, a reputation that poisons the entire brand regardless of their other products' actual qualities. Number 8, Alfa Romeo. The Italian dream has turned into a financial nightmare for Stellantis, as Alfa Romeo's romantic appeal crashes against the harsh reality of modern automotive economics. The brand's reliability catastrophe has destroyed any momentum generated by admittedly gorgeous styling and engaging driving dynamics. Dependability studies rank Alfa Romeo at or near the absolute bottom of all brands sold in America. with electrical gremlins, mechanical failures, and quality control issues that would have been unacceptable in the 1980s, let alone today's competitive environment. The consequences of this reliability disaster appear in Alfa Romeo's resale value devastation. 3-year-old Giulia and Stelvio models are experiencing depreciation rates that exceed 50%, losses that make German luxury depreciation look conservative by comparison. Lessees are walking away from leases owing thousands more than their vehicles are worth, while owners trying to trade in discover their Italian exotic is worth less than a comparable Toyota. This value destruction makes the total cost of ownership catastrophically expensive, regardless of attractive initial lease or purchase offers. Dealer network abandonment is accelerating as the economic reality of selling Alfa Romeos becomes undeniable. Over 30% of Alfa Romeo dealers have terminated their franchises in the past 3 years, unwilling to continue investing in a brand that generates minimal traffic and even less profit. The remaining dealers are being consolidated into multi-brand facilities where Alfa Romeo receives a small corner of the showroom, a visible demonstration of the brand's diminished status and market irrelevance. Behind the sales disaster is a product lineup too small to sustain a luxury brand in the modern market. With only 2 core models, Alfa Romeo cannot create the showroom variety needed to attract diverse customer segments. Luxury car buyers want choices, and offering them only a sedan or an SUV, regardless of how well executed, is insufficient in a segment where competitors offer 6, 8, or 10 different models. This product scarcity creates a vicious cycle where limited selection suppresses traffic, which reduces sales volume, which eliminates the financial justification for expanding the product lineup. The cultural disconnect between Italian automotive passion and American consumer priorities has proven unbridgeable. Alfa Romeo's marketing emphasizes emotion, heritage, and driving pleasure. Values that resonate with automotive enthusiasts but leave mainstream luxury buyers cold. Today's luxury consumers want technology, safety features, warranties, and resale value, not romantic notions about Italian soul and racing heritage. Alfa Romeo is selling a value proposition that the American market has definitively rejected, and no amount of discounting can overcome this fundamental misalignment between product and market demand. Number 7. Volvo. The Swedish safety brand is discovering that its traditional strengths no longer translate to sales as safety features have become commoditized across the industry. Volvo's differentiation collapse is nearly complete, with advanced driver assistance systems now standard on vehicles costing half what Volvo charges. When a Toyota Camry offers nearly identical safety technology to an S90, Volvo's core brand promise evaporates, leaving only premium pricing without premium justification. The Chinese ownership stigma has emerged as an unexpected headwind for a brand trying to compete in the luxury segment. Market research reveals that significant portions of luxury car buyers harbor concerns about Chinese manufacturing quality and corporate governance, concerns that suppress consideration for Volvo regardless of where their vehicles are actually assembled. This perception problem is particularly acute among the older, wealthier demographics most likely to purchase luxury vehicles, creating a ceiling on Volvo's growth potential that product excellence alone cannot penetrate. The luxury positioning paradox haunts every aspect of Volvo's strategy. The brand is too expensive to compete with mainstream alternatives on value, yet lacks the prestige and performance credentials to justify its premium against established German rivals. Caught between Toyota and BMW, Volvo offers neither the best value nor the ultimate luxury experience. This uncomfortable middle position has always been Volvo's challenge. But in today's bifurcating automotive market, where buyers increasingly choose either maximum value or maximum prestige, the middle ground is becoming commercially unviable. Volvo is not just struggling, it is occupying market space that is disappearing. Number 6. Subaru. The all-wheel drive specialist is experiencing a reckoning as its niche positioning becomes a weakness rather than a strength. Subaru's Conquest sales collapse reveals that the brand has saturated its core audience of outdoor enthusiasts and practical-minded consumers in northern climates. 80% of Subaru buyers are repeat customers, a loyalty rate that sounds impressive until you realize it means Subaru is simply recycling the same aging customer base rather than attracting new buyers. Without Conquest sales growth, the brand faces demographic decline as its customer base ages and shrinks. Perhaps most concerning is the pricing power erosion forcing Subaru into incentive territory previously unnecessary. For years, Subaru maintained minimal discounting, with strong residual values supporting lease economics and purchase values. That is changing rapidly, with incentives climbing across the lineup as dealers struggle to maintain volume targets. Some markets are seeing Outback and Forester incentives exceeding $3,000, figures that would have been unthinkable 3 years ago. This transition from premium positioning to discount dependency signals a brand in trouble, unable to command its previous pricing power as differentiation disappears and competition intensifies. Number 5. Jaguar. The British luxury brand is experiencing a terminal decline that even lavish Land Rover showrooms cannot disguise. Jaguar's product lineup extinction is nearly complete, with the brand eliminating sedans and sports cars to focus exclusively on SUVs in a desperate attempt to chase market trends. The XE, XF, and F-Type are being discontinued with no direct replacements planned, leaving Jaguar with a handful of crossovers competing in segments dominated by better established, more reliable German alternatives. This is not strategic focus. This is a brand retreat that precedes complete withdrawal. The reliability disaster that defines modern Jaguar ownership has destroyed resale values and consumer confidence. Dependability studies consistently rank Jaguar among the least reliable brands sold anywhere, with electrical problems, infotainment failures, and mechanical issues that occur with alarming frequency. Warranty repairs are so common that some dealerships have expanded service departments specifically to handle the volume of Jaguar repairs under warranty. This is catastrophic for a luxury brand where reliability and quality are fundamental expectations, not optional features. Financial desperation is visible in incentive levels that exceed 20% of manufacturers' suggested retail price on some models. Jaguar dealers are combining manufacturer rebates, financing subventions, and dealer contributions to create offers that reduce prices by $15,000 to $25,000 on vehicles barely a year old. This is not competitive pricing. This is clearance pricing on a brand that has lost all pricing integrity. These incentives destroy residual values, making leasing prohibitively expensive and creating a vicious cycle where discounting today creates value problems tomorrow. Parent company Tata's patience is exhausted after billions invested with minimal return. Industry insiders report that Jaguar's North American operations are under intense scrutiny, with profitability targets that seem increasingly unreachable given current market conditions and brand perception. The rumored all-electric reinvention of Jaguar appears to be the brand's final chance to establish relevance, but betting everything on electric vehicles when the brand cannot successfully sell conventional vehicles seems more desperate than strategic. The brand extinction scenario is being openly discussed in automotive industry circles. Jaguar could follow Saab, Hummer, and other brands into automotive history, a victim of changing consumer preferences, reliability problems, and competitive forces it could not overcome. The warning signs are unmistakable: shrinking product lineup, collapsing sales volumes, dealer network contraction, and parent company statements about fundamental brand reinvention. These are not indicators of a temporary downturn. These are symptoms of a brand in its death throes, consuming resources while generating losses and preparing stakeholders for an eventual exit. Number 4. Maserati. The Italian exotic has become an automotive punchline, synonymous with depreciation, unreliability, and poor value. Maserati's depreciation apocalypse is unmatched in the luxury segment, with new vehicles losing 60 to 70% of their value within 3 years. A Ghibli or Levante that sold for $80,000 new is worth barely $30,000 3 years later. depreciation that exceeds even the worst German luxury models and approaches supercar territory. This value destruction makes Maserati ownership financially irrational, regardless of initial purchase or lease terms. The reliability nightmare that haunts Maserati is well documented across owner forums and consumer reporting agencies. Electrical failures, transmission problems, suspension issues, and infotainment glitches occur with regularity that would bankrupt a mainstream brand. Warranty repairs are so common that extended warranties are virtually mandatory, and even those often exclude the most problematic systems. This reliability catastrophe has destroyed any premium brand perception, leaving Maserati viewed as exotic car styling wrapped around Chrysler parts bins and Italian electrical engineering, the worst of all possible combinations. Number 3. Land Rover. The British off-road legend is discovering that heritage and capability cannot overcome reputation for catastrophic unreliability. Land Rover's reliability crisis has reached levels that should be existential for any luxury brand. Dependability studies consistently rank Land Rover as the least reliable brand sold in America, with electrical problems, air suspension failures, infotainment issues, and engine problems occurring at rates that exceed even Maserati and Jaguar. Owners report spending more time at dealerships for repairs than they spend enjoying the vehicles, an unacceptable ownership experience regardless of off-road capability or luxury appointments. The financial consequences appear in depreciation rates that rival Maserati for severity. Range Rover and Discovery models lose 50 to 65% of their value within 3 years. Catastrophic depreciation that makes lease residuals collapse, and ownership economics irrational. A $90,000 Range Rover Sport is worth barely $35,000 3 years later, a value loss of over $55,000 that exceeds the entire purchase price of mainstream alternatives. This depreciation destroys the brand's luxury positioning because truly, premium products retain their value. Warranty dependence has become a dark joke among Land Rover owners, with vehicles spending weeks or months in service departments during the warranty period. Some owners report 10 or more warranty visits within the first 2 years of ownership, experiencing failures that range from minor annoyances to complete powertrain replacements. The online communities dedicated to Land Rover reliability problems are vast and active, filled with owners documenting failures and sharing service department horror stories. This creates a negative information environment that suppresses conquest sales and reinforces the brand's reputation for unreliability. Competitive pressures are intensifying as German luxury brands match Land Rover's off-road capability while delivering far superior reliability. The Mercedes GLS, BMW X7, and Audi Q8 offer comparable luxury and increasingly competent off-road systems without Land Rover's reliability baggage. These alternatives are capturing sales from informed buyers who want luxury and capability without accepting Land Rover's ownership risks. The resulting sales pressure is forcing Land Rover into discount territory, with incentives now common across the lineup to maintain volume. The corporate parent Tata is losing patience with brands that consume billions while generating losses and reputation damage. Land Rover exists in portfolio reviews alongside Jaguar as problem children that may not have long-term futures within the corporate structure. While Land Rover generates more volume than Jaguar, the reliability problems and resulting warranty costs, depreciation impacts, and reputation damage may eventually outweigh the revenue. Industry observers question whether Land Rover can fix its quality problems or whether the brand is fundamentally compromised by engineering complexity that makes reliability unattainable. Number 2. Polestar. The Swedish electric brand is collapsing before it even established market presence. Polestar's brand awareness void is nearly absolute outside automotive enthusiast circles. Consumer surveys reveal that fewer than 15% of car buyers can identify Polestar or describe what the brand represents. This anonymity is fatal in the automotive marketplace, where brand consideration drives showroom traffic and purchase decisions. Without awareness, even excellent products cannot succeed because consumers do not know to consider them. The pricing confusion that surrounds Polestar's market positioning has alienated both luxury buyers and value seekers. Polestar vehicles are priced at luxury levels, but the brand lacks the heritage, dealer network, and status symbols that justify luxury pricing. Simultaneously, Polestar cannot compete on value because their prices exceed mainstream EVs while offering questionable advantages. This positioning confusion leaves Polestar without a clear target market, too expensive for practical buyers and insufficiently prestigious for luxury consumers. Dealer network inadequacy cripples Polestar's ability to deliver the luxury sales and service experience their pricing demands. Many markets lack any Polestar representation, forcing interested buyers to travel hours for test drives or service. The Polestar Spaces concept, small urban showrooms without inventory or service capabilities, has failed to create viable retail presence. Customers expecting luxury brand treatment encounter instead a direct sales model that eliminates the personalized service and local relationships traditional luxury dealers provide. Resale value uncertainty haunts every Polestar transaction as the brand's long-term viability remains unproven. Without established depreciation curves or strong residuals, lease economics are unfavorable, and outright purchase requires accepting unknown future value risks. 3-year residual value projections for Polestar vehicles have been repeatedly downgraded as actual used market data revealed weaker demand than initially forecast. This value uncertainty makes Polestar a risky purchase regardless of product quality. Parent company Geely's commitment questions are increasingly prevalent as Polestar burns through billions with minimal sales to show for the investment. The brand's survival depends on continued corporate patience and capital infusions that may not continue indefinitely if market traction does not improve dramatically. Polestar is not struggling. It is failing to launch, trapped in a void of brand anonymity, market confusion, and unproven value that may prove impossible to escape regardless of how much money Volvo and Geely are willing to lose. Number 1. Tesla. The electric vehicle pioneer is experiencing a spectacular collapse in brand value and market position that will be studied in business schools for decades. Tesla's quality control disaster has destroyed the premium positioning that once justified their pricing. Panel gaps, paint defects, interior trim problems, and electronic glitches plague Tesla vehicles with frequency that would trigger recalls and class action lawsuits for traditional manufacturers. The online documentation of Tesla quality problems is vast, with owners posting photos and videos of defects that would be unacceptable on vehicles costing half as much. The price cut spiral that Tesla initiated has devastated residual values and owner equity across their entire fleet. Owners who paid $60,000 or $70,000 for Model Y or Model 3 vehicles watched Tesla slash prices by $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 within months, instantly destroying their equity and residuals. This arbitrary pricing has created profound resentment among Tesla owners and established that Tesla products have no stable value, making future purchases risky because buyers know prices might drop drastically at any moment. Brand reputation collapse is accelerating as Tesla transitions from innovative startup to problematic incumbent. The brand's association with controversial leadership has alienated significant portions of the potential buyer base, with surveys indicating that 30 to 40% of luxury car buyers would not consider Tesla specifically because of brand perception issues unrelated to the vehicles themselves. This reputational damage has converted Tesla from aspirational to divisive, a catastrophic change for a brand dependent on emotional connections and status signaling. The competitive onslaught from traditional manufacturers has arrived, with virtually every automaker now offering electric alternatives that match or exceed Tesla's technology while delivering superior build quality and service networks. The BMW i4, Mercedes EQE, Genesis electrified GV70, and numerous other alternatives provide comparable or better electric driving experiences without Tesla's quality problems or brand baggage. Tesla's brief window of competitive advantage has closed, and the company now competes on increasingly unfavorable terms against manufacturers with century-long expertise in actually building quality vehicles. Service network inadequacy has become a crisis as growing vehicle populations overwhelm Tesla's limited service capacity. Owners report waiting weeks or months for service appointments, receiving poor communication, and experiencing repair delays that would trigger lemon law actions for traditional brands. The mobile service fleet cannot compensate for the lack of traditional dealer networks that provide local service capacity and customer relationships. This service crisis compounds quality problems, creating an ownership experience that falls short of luxury standards despite luxury pricing. Most devastating is the demand collapse, visible in growing inventory, increasing incentives, and desperate price cuts. Tesla is now offering discounts, free supercharging credits, and other incentives that were unthinkable when demand exceeded supply. Inventory is accumulating at delivery centers and parking lots, visible evidence that production exceeds demand. This inventory pressure has triggered additional price cuts that further damage residual values in a death spiral that may prove impossible to escape. Tesla is not transitioning from growth to maturity. It is collapsing from unsustainable hype to harsh market reality, and the financial consequences will be severe. So there you have it. 10 automotive brands experiencing financial collapse in real time while dealers desperately try to move inventory that nobody wants. The common thread connecting these failures is simple. You cannot succeed long-term by disappointing customers, regardless of how clever your marketing or how deep your discounts. These brands lost consumer trust, and once trust evaporates, no amount of rebates can rebuild it. The automotive graveyard is littered with brands that learned this lesson too late. Which brand's collapse surprised you most? Drop a comment below and tell me if you think any of these brands can actually recover or if they are already finished. If this video opened your eyes to what is really happening in the car business, smash that like button so more people see the truth. Subscribe right now because the bloodbath is just beginning and you need to know which brands are circling the drain before you make your next purchase decision. The next collapse is already underway and I will expose it soon.